Reports are coming out that President Bola Tinubu is currently depressed over the worsening insecurity situation in Nigeria.
If the president is depressed about the insecurity, we will not have a foreign minister go to misrepresent facts on Piers Morgan's show.
And just this week, another church was attacked in Kwara State. 3 people were killed, several worshippers were abducted. This is happening at the same time that the US Congress is holding a hearing this Thursday to investigate claims of religious violence in Nigeria. And Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo just appeared on Piers Morgan's show, speaking about these attacks. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The presidency is saying Nigeria doesn't need America's help, while some people are questioning why certain reports are being covered up. I'm going to show you 3 clips that explain what's really going on, break down the facts, and then I want to hear your honest take on this situation. Before we go any further, let me make something very clear. I'm not here to attack anyone, I'm not here to take sides, I'm not here to push any religious or political agenda. My job is to present the facts, show you what different people are saying, cite credible sources, and let you form your own opinion. Because this is a sensitive topic. People have died, families are mourning. So I'm going to handle this with the seriousness it deserves. The information I'm sharing today comes from multiple sources, including Sarah Reporters, Arise News, Piers Morgan Uncensored, and statements from the Nigerian presidency. Now, if you appreciate honest, balanced updates like this, where I don't attack, I don't take sides, I just give you the full picture, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. And as you are watching, go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow, and let us know you want more straight to the point content like this. Alright, let's talk about what's really happening. So here's the situation on ground. Nigeria has been dealing with insecurity for years now. We all know this, and that's the truth. Bandits in the northwest, ISWAP in the northeast, kidnappings, attacks on communities. It's been ongoing, but recently, things have escalated in a very specific way. There have been multiple reports of attacks on Christian communities and churches, and these reports have caught international attention, particularly in the United States. Now, the US Congress is scheduled to hold a hearing this Thursday, November 21st, to investigate these claims, and depending on what they find, there is talk of possible sanctions or even intervention. But the Nigerian government, however, has rejected this. The presidency has said, see, Nigeria can handle its own security challenges and doesn't need American help. But here's where the story gets more complicated. Just this week, there was another attack, and before that attack happened, a Nigerian reverend named Ezekiel Dachomo appeared on Piers Morgan's show to talk about the violence he has witnessed. Let me show you what he said.
I've performed several genocide burials more than 70 times. Imagine some of the graves are 501 people killed in one night in Dogona Hawa village named Jembru. The Nigerian government downplayed that one because the Islamic are controlling the government.
So the Nigerian government, if I may just jump in there, the Nigerian government has vehemently denied there is a genocide of Christians in Nigeria. Further, they say a lot of Muslims have also been killed by the likes of Boko Haram for being too moderate, and that therefore the issue of Islamists killing people is not restricted just to Christians, but also to moderate Muslims. What do you say to that?
So let me give you the background of what happened. This is the background with initial fact finding. They created Boko Haram by many that are in hierarchy of the government to remove Goodluck, who is a Christian. This is what happened. They steered them. They caused riot every village. And the people ran away, they were relocated. And their target is to kill the Christian. Because Goodluck is a Christian. That's why Goodluck says, my blood is not worthy.
So that was Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo speaking to Piers Morgan. Now, whether you agree with this characterization or not, one thing is clear, is someone who has been on the ground, is someone who claims to have witnessed these attacks firsthand, and is now calling for international intervention. This interview went viral online. It was shared across social media. People were debating it. Some were agreeing, some were criticizing him, some were saying he's exaggerating, and others were saying, see, he's speaking the truth. But here's the thing, hours after this interview went viral, another attack happened. Let me show you what happened in Kwara State. On November 18, gunmen attacked a Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, Kwara State during a Sunday service. Well, according to Sarah reporters, 3 people were killed on the spot. Several worshippers were abducted and taken into the bush. And guess what? The pastor was among those taken. This is not just a report. There is a footage, and the reaction from Nigerians, including media personalities, has been intense. Let me show you. Once again, don't forget to like this video as you are watching. It really helps the channel. And in case you are yet to subscribe, do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Just as you just heard, 3 people dead, families destroyed, a pastor and several worshippers kidnapped. And this is happening in Kwara State, which is not even one of the states we typically hear about when it comes to these kinds of attacks. Now, here's what makes this even more troubling. Just days before this attack, there were reports that a Brigadier General, General Musa, was ambushed and killed by ISWAP terrorists. Initially, the Nigerian army said the report was false. They called it fake news, but the very next day, they confirmed it was true. So people are now asking, why was there an attempt to cover it up? Why are we getting conflicting information from official sources? And if they are trying to downplay a general being killed, what else are they not telling us? That's the multi-billion-dollar question everyone is asking. This is why some people are saying we need independent investigation. This is why the US Congress hearing this Thursday is so important, because if the government is not being transparent about what's happening, then how can Nigerians trust that the situation is being handled properly? Now, in response to all of this, the Nigerian presidency released a statement saying that the president is depressed over the security situation. And when that statement came out, it sparked a massive reaction online. And one of the people who reacted was Rufai Oseni on Arise News. And what he said was, let me just show you.
If the president is depressed about insecurity, we will not have a foreign minister go to misrepresent facts on Piers Morgan's show. And I challenge his data. He said 177 Christians have been killed in the last 5 years. I challenge, where did he get the data from? Does he know the death toll in Yelwata? Does he know the Christmas killings death toll? If the president, Ayo, was feeling discontent and very sad. Once that incident happened over the weekend, I don't think the vice president should have been in Kogi going to welcome new Dick and Peas. Also, if the president was very sad about General Uba, that great, victorious general that died fighting for this country, I don't think they should have been welcoming people. If the president was very sad, I don't think they should have been, anyway, they've postponed the one in Taraba now. They should have been planning a welcome party for the Taraba state government at a time where people in the local government, they still protested yesterday based on the killings of the thief. Ralph Waldo Emerson said something. What you do speaks so loud, I can't hear what you say. But yes, President Tinubu, you are very sad about the killings. Then what are you going to do about it? President Tinubu, as sad as you are, I just have one word to say to you this morning. Please, can we investigate complicity in the Kebbi attack? Because we're so easy and quick to mock Madam Jonathan when she was crying, "There is God," about complicity. But do you know that one of the teachers that were interviewed that escaped said that they had deployed security forces around there because the DSS, and kudos to DSS under Mr. Tosin Ajayi, this man has done a fabulous job. DSS gave the intel. Security force was there. They had already planning and teaching them the drills. 30 minutes before the attacks, all of a sudden, the security forces left. Who ordered them to leave? President Tinubu, if you are sad, I think the very first thing we need to know is who ordered them to leave. Who gave the order? 30 minutes after they left, the attack happened. So you want to tell me there's no complicity? Tell it to the birds. So who ordered them to leave? And that's the problem we keep saying. So President Tinubu, the sadness you feel, and the sadness we all feel this morning, birth action, not just talk. Because we have seen too much talk. You feel sad about the insecurity. The first calisthenics that your government played was to downplay the fact that they are Christian genocide. We are not saying they are not killing Muslims. They are killing Muslims en masse, and we are upset about it. The killing of Muslims of genocidal proportion. But there's Christian genocide, but the denialism is what is unforgivable. And people from your government, like Mr. Tuga and Co., and other people do it. I'm happy that CAN has reasserted what is happening.
Test of this general, now international concern about security problems in Nigeria. We have had against that background the killing of a general. We have had against that background the abduction of 22 students of a girls' comprehensive school in Maga. We have had against that background the attack on a CAC Apostolic Church in Kwara. Also against that background where some terrorists went there. Now, all of that is fueling the narrative, confirming the position that there is insecurity in Nigeria. But the more problematic part of it is that that emerging narrative is placed on the fulcrum of the fact that the victims are Christians and only Christians, and which is not the correct situation, I keep insisting. The major thing you can put your finger on is general insecurity in Nigeria and the incompetence, the inability of the federal government of Nigeria applying either kinetic measures or non-kinetic measures to solve the problem. A problem that you can date back to as far back as 2004. The failure of successive Nigerian governments to deal with the problem is in itself embarrassing. And that is the fact. Now, the story that you have brought to the table is President Tinubu saying he's depressed and government is going to do a lot to get back the 25 students who were abducted from the Comprehensive Girls High School in Maga, Kebbi State. Now, okay, this is the usual thing that government says. Government is always depressed. Government is always regretful. Whether it is Chibok girls or Dapchi girls, and now it is the girls from Kebbi. So the government is just saying the right thing, and then northern governors saying their outrage. Both the federal government and the state government continues to, continue to disappoint the people, whether it's in Kebbi State or it's in Borno State or elsewhere in Nigeria. And that, I think, is the bigger problem that we have to address. However, the danger in it is that the international community that is not built up a narrative about Christian genocide will feed on it like worms to say whatever they want to say. Riley Moore, House of Representatives member in the U.S., in addition to Tom Cole, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, and Ted Cruz. This is, good material for them. And the Trinidadian bimbo, Nicki Minaj, who spoke yesterday at a UN event, they are all already feeding into it. Riley Moore says, for example, that Kebbi is a Christian state, and the students that were abducted were Christian students. But that is not true. Kebbi is a predominantly, Christian, Muslim state, and the people that were adopted, they were Muslims. But when the state is negligent, when the state fails in terms of its responsibilities, then you will get that kind of riposte from other people who, by the way, may have their own agenda to pursue. Meanwhile, we have in Nigeria, since the time of President Jonathan, what we call a Safe Schools Initiative. When the Dapchi girls were abducted, it was the same thing we were talking about, Safe Schools Initiative. In fact, some state governments said they were going to provide more security, they were going to fence the schools round, and yet in spite of all of that, you still have 25 students being abducted from a school in Kebbi State. So the bigger issue is the failure of the state. And I think that, we may just well address all of this instead of thinking that somebody from another country will come and save Nigeria.
As you have just witnessed, Rufai didn't hold back. And honestly, I think a lot of Nigerians feel the same way he does. See, I understand that being president is a difficult job. I understand that the security challenge Nigeria is facing are complex. I'm not here to say it is easy, but, and this is important, when your people are being killed, when churches are being attacked, when communities are living in fear, saying you are depressed is not enough. People don't need to know that you are depressed. People need to see action. People need to see results. People need to see that something is changing. And right now, from what we are seeing, things are not getting better. If anything, they are getting worse. Now, the government says Nigeria doesn't need American help. They say we can solve this ourselves. Okay, fine. But then solve it. Show us the plan. Show us the strategy. Show us that you are making progress. Because right now, all we are seeing is more attacks, more deaths, more kidnappings, and more statements that don't seem to match the reality on ground. Now, let me share my honest perspective on the whole situation. First, my heart goes out to the families of those who were killed in Kwara State, to the pastor and worshippers who were abducted, to every Nigerian living in fear right now. This should not be your reality. You deserve better. Second, I think the US Congress hearing this Thursday is important, not because I want foreign countries to intervene in Nigeria's affairs, but because accountability matters. If the Nigerian government knows the international community is watching, if they know that there will be consequences for inaction, maybe, just maybe, they will take this more seriously. Third, I think we need to be honest about what's happening. Whether you want to call it what Reverend Ezekiel called it or not, the fact is, people are dying, communities are being attacked, and the response from the government has been inadequate. That's not a political statement, that's just the reality. Fourth, I don't think Nigerians should be dividing along religious lines on this issue. If it is Christians being attacked today and the government does nothing, what's to stop it from being another group tomorrow? This is about all Nigerians demanding that their government fulfill its basic responsibility to protect its citizens. And finally, I think the presidency needs to understand something. Nigerians don't want to hear that you are depressed. They want to see leadership. They want to see action. They want to see you doing everything in your power to stop these attacks. Because if you can't do that, then what's the point? Now, I really want to hear from you. What do you think about the US Congress hearing this Thursday? Should Nigeria accept international help, or should we handle this ourselves? Also, what do you think about Rufai's reaction to the Tinubu is depressed statement? Was he right to call it out, or was it being unfair? And most importantly, what should be done to stop these attacks? Kindly drop your honest thoughts in the comments. Let's have a respectful conversation about this. No insults, I beg. No attacks, just honest dialogue. And if you know someone who needs to see this video, share it with them. Let's keep everyone informed about what's really happening. If you made it to this end of this video, I really appreciate. Thank you for watching. And if you appreciate honest updates, balanced breakdowns like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notifications. I'll be covering the outcome of the US Congress hearing on Thursday, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the update.